Terrible. Can't even see Mr. Bill here. Yellow. All right, what's the motherfucker doing? Welcome to the Den. I am your host, Sir Ed Honcho. I apologize for the slight delay. A little bit later tonight. I'm going to deal with some little issues around the house. Just say little creatures are not behaving up to their best behavior, so we have to regulate. Regulators, mount up. But like I said, welcome to the Den. If you're not familiar with the Den is the best show on the entire internet. If you can search high and low, you'll never find a better show. The reason why is because of you, the wonderful people who come and join this conversation each and every night, Sunday through Friday, and the various topics that we discuss, whether it be personal, political, perverted, we go all over the place, right? Whether it be, relationships, racial, raucous, ratchet, respectable, whatever we're talking about. I appreciate you guys for being here and being a part of this community and being a part of this conversation because, again, you guys make it what it is. But tonight, we're going to kind of continue the conversation that we were having last night, but I kind of want to look at it from a slightly different angle. And then I kind of want to look at, some of the victims. I want to look at some, a little bit more of the symbolism. I want to look at a little bit more of the fault, the blame. And then, like I said, I want to open up the lines. I know I talked for a long time yesterday, and some folks did want to get in there to get a chance to get in. So hopefully, we'll have a chance to do so this evening, right? And Ashley, wherever you may be, it's the worst discussion I've ever had in my life. But some things were said in that discussion that made me think about some things. And, so it is what it is. Zero Mystery, welcome. Appreciate you. Heidi, I do it for you because I know it gets you moist. The later I am, the more riled up you get. Let's see who we got joining us tonight, though. Jason S. John, my favorite New Yorker, the lovely Miss Cartier. What are you doing this evening, Miss Cartier? Broderick, who also is a slight inspiration for the continuation of the conversation tonight. Michelle, I'm glad that you returned. Good to see you. I hope all is well. Let's see, Marcus Brown, what's the motherfucking deal? And Heidi. Anyway, stop playing with you, Heidi. So like I said, I want to talk about it. I want to get into it, right? And there were two clips from last night that I said I wanted to hold off on that I did not show. And it's kind of from the perspective of the people who were there and kind of what they said. And some of you may have seen this. Some of you may have seen the shorter version. I kind of want to let the long version play. And it's some very interesting things. Then, like I said, I got a couple of articles about the people who passed. And, I don't want to say I have questions, but we'll just talk about it, right? Because it's very sad. It's very unfortunate. And again, I don't think the numbers match up because there's the 8 that they talk about, and then you're hearing other people saying that there's some other people who had some injuries that sustained a loss of life or, things like that. And so I'm just curious to see what happens when it's all over with. And I mean, you see all the celebrity lawyers. I don't know if you guys have been on any of the social medias and you're seeing ads on Instagram. Maybe it's a Houston-based thing. Maybe they're geo-targeting it or whatever. But they're talking about, hey, if you've been a part of the suit, if you have a traumatic experience from the Travis Scott situation, Astroworld Festival, that, hey, contact us here at Astroworld Fest. You're seeing the Ben Crumps posting the shit on their Instagram. Who was it? That online therapy company talking about they're giving a free month of therapy to anybody who may have been involved, right? And how do you confirm that, right? I mean, I don't know, maybe. Again, I think that one, and this is me making just assumptions, right? Because I don't listen to Travis Scott's music, but I'm looking at the crowds, again, people tell you a lot by the way that they look. And, people say don't judge a book by its cover. You might not judge a book by its cover, but you can judge a section of the library by the books that are in it, I guess you could say. And so there were a lot of books, a lot of covers. And so I think we know what the topic is. And that analogy might not have went over, but hey, we tried, right? Deacon Obi, how you doing this evening, sir? Give me one moment. It's a little toasty in here with these lights. Let me Let me cut this fan on. It might be slightly noisy. I need to tighten this bitch up. But give me about 14 and a half seconds to do so. I'll keep the sound on so you guys can, But while you're in here, please hit the like button. It's greatly appreciated. And that's more light than I want here, but a little wind going. All right, so that being said, oh, no wonder. I know I had a cup of water around here somewhere behind the damn monitor. All right, so let's kind of get into it. Like I said, I'm gonna show you a couple of clips, and again, like you might have seen these. If you hadn't, just check it out. Let's swap it out. Let me get to the good stuff.
One of the narratives was that
we already saw that one. I showed that yesterday, right? And again, they talk about the guy getting poked in the neck. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about that, even though, this is out there. But we'll come back to that. Let's go here. This is what I want to talk about.
All right, so shit, I'm about to do this video to let everybody know what the fuck happened to that AstroWorld, bro. Like, okay, so when I first got there, that's when Master P was performing. It wasn't that many people there, so I had went, I got in the crowd. We was probably like in the middle of the crowd, but we was way in the front. And as everything was happening, I just felt like I was being crushed and like I couldn't breathe, and I almost like literally passed out. Like I felt like I was about to like collapse. So I started screaming and shit. So that's when like the people, they seen me just because of the fact that I was in the front. So they had pulled me out, you know what I'm saying? And then I had got out and I had just stood around, like not in the crowd no more. But that was during the daytime. So look, let me tell y'all something. Look, all right, so this is when Travis Scott is about to hit the stage. All right, something in my mind told me don't get in the crowd due to the fact of what happened to me earlier that day, you know what I'm saying, with the whole Master P, audience and whatnot. So look, Travis Scott about to perform. It's probably like 100,000 plus people, everywhere, you know what I'm saying, just standing around in the barricades, you know what I'm saying. So it wasn't as bad, but something told me don't stand in the barricade. I sat on the side, you see what I'm saying. I went all the way to like the end of the line, and I was like right there on the barricade, but I sat like, took a seat on it so I wouldn't be in the crowd like that. But I kid y'all not, bro. As soon as Travis Scott started, like as soon as he started, like all the flame, the fire, the fucking like the Phoenix and all that shit, and then he popped out, started going crazy, and like I'm telling you, as soon as he started going crazy, like the whole crowd started raging and shit. Everybody just screaming, help, help, help. Mind you, I'm sitting on top of the fence. So I'm looking down on everybody and I'm seeing all this shit happening, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers reaching and they crying. I'm trying to pull people out. So look, in the middle, it's a VIP section, like different celebrities and people who pay like thousands of dollars to sit in the VIP section. Mind you, I'm pulling people out and I'm trying to pull them into that VIP section. That's where like people was pulling people in so they can breathe. So the people in the damn VIP section, they getting mad, talking about why the fuck you pulling people over here in our section. I'm like, man, fuck that shit, bro. These people about to lose their motherfucking lives, you know what I'm saying? So I pulled out this one boy. This boy, he probably like 14 years old. This is a little bitty teenager, bro. This one lady, I kid you not, in the fucking VIP section, literally put her hands on this boy and assaulted this boy and started hitting him like, didn't I tell y'all don't jump the fuck over? So I end up screaming, I'm like, bitch, who the fuck is you to tell somebody what the fuck they can do? Like, bitch, this ain't your motherfucking concert, bitch. Don't nobody give a fuck about what motherfucking ticket you paid for. Like, these people need some fucking help. So I'm helping people, I'm pulling people out. And like, it just felt like we was like literally like in fucking hell, bro. Like, it felt like we was in a concert in hell. You couldn't breathe, you couldn't see. Like, just imagine all the people they gonna find tonight who was in that crowd, who nobody could see, who nobody could hear, who passed out, and everybody was just trampling on top of them the whole fucking concert. Like, I'm thinking it's probably gonna be like at least 100 people who dead tonight. Like, I kid you not. Like, in the VIP section, it was so many bodies laid out. People was getting pulled out who was fainted. And the medics were trying to give them CPR, and they was flipping them over, and like they was literally turning them black and blue. Like, I never seen death in my fucking life, bro. Just by me alone, it was probably like 10 fucking people laid out dead. And like, once the medics tried to help them, they wasn't responding. They moved to the next person. it was nothing they could have do. Like this shit really fucked me up and like really spooked me tonight. Like that was like some demonic shit. Like, and what was so crazy, like people were screaming help, trying to tell Travis Scott. They was like help. The whole crowd was just going like help, help, help. And he just kept going, bro. It was like, that shit was scary, bro. It was so demonic, bro. And mind you, y'all see the type of music I make. Y'all see everything, like, you know, like I've been so heavily influenced by Travis, but like after tonight, bro, like God really showed me, like, you know, like stay away from that shit, bro. Like that shit not for you, cause like he sacrificed so many people's lives tonight, like for real. Like so many people's lives are gone tonight because they want to go to a fucking Travis Scott concert and have fun. You know, he influenced people to be raging and all this shit. So many people broke in and it was just chaos, bro. It was a living fucking hell, bro. Imagine seeing all those dead bodies, and that was just by me. And the shit got so bad, I was sitting on top of the gate. I was pulling so many people in, helping so many fucking people, and people was just screaming, crying, trying to ask for my help. I got so overwhelmed, I jumped down and I ran out that bitch and I left, bro. Like, this shit really happened tonight. And a lot of people, they, you know, hearing this shit, but like, watch tomorrow, y'all gonna see this shit was no fucking joke. Like, this shit really happened. So many people got injured, so many people died. That shit was so fucking wicked, like, it was so wicked, bro. Like, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, put nothing on Travis Scott and call him Illuminati, call him no devil worship, but that's what the fuck it was, bro. We really went to a concert in hell, bro. You couldn't breathe. I'm talking about everybody was so crushed up on you. It was like literally no room for you to lift your chest up and breathe. Like, you couldn't move. You couldn't fucking breathe, bro. Just by the good fucking grace of God, I was in the front, so they helped me out. But I knew, and I even told people at nighttime, I said, bro, once the sun go down and the main stage opened up, I said, bro, do not go to that fucking, the middle of that fucking crowd, because at nighttime, nobody will be able to hear you. Nobody will be able to see you. Something bad gonna happen, bro. And exactly like that, a lot of bad shit happened. A lot of people lost their lives. A lot of people got hurt. So any parents watching this shit, I would advise you to not send your motherfucking kids to no fucking AstroWorld Fest. Let their ass stay at home. That shit was not fun. It was scary as fuck. Like, don't go. And if that bitch still is open tomorrow, don't send your kids. I really hope this shit get canceled. I know tomorrow this shit gonna be on the news for sure. But shit, that's all I gotta say, bro. All right.
Now, this gentleman, I believe his name, Instagram is Diablo Santiago or something of that sort. So he talks about the kind of music he makes. I don't listen to random people's music on the interwebs. And also, you know, he said a bunch of different things that we discussed, right? Yeah. Some of y'all just gonna have to, y'all gotta understand about the den. Some of you who may be a little bit newer, some of you this may be your first time here, some of y'all might not understand. This is not your typical channel, or I don't like calling it a channel, I like calling it a community, right? Because here's the thing, everybody gets a say. I'm a firm believer in allowing people to speak their mind. I have to stop using the term free speech, right? Because it's something I learned about that term today. But I'm a firm believer in allowing people to speak their minds. And, you know what I'm saying? If you can't bang, I suggest you get out the game. It's a little bit different on this side. But like I said, his name is Diablo Santiago or something of that nature. And so basically, Diablo, in one of those illegal languages, means devil. And so obviously that you would think maybe that here has to be some kind of hints of, you know, some of that evil in his music, right? And he says he goes and he sees this thing tonight. And he said he felt like he was in a concert in hell. And I think people's minds revert to things that they familiarize themselves with. So if he is a guy that bases his name around the devil, maybe makes music with evil inferences to it, he feels like that has come to fruition, right? And if you saw the videos that we all talked about yesterday, if we, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you saw just the imagery, right? And I watched all that shit again today. And the fact that people were so squished upon one another to the point where you literally could, you couldn't. I felt like I couldn't breathe watching the shit. And I mean, people were just, again, I don't know. They haven't really discussed all the other injuries. I guarantee there are permanent injury. Some people will probably paralyzed for the rest of their lives or will need some form of rehabilitation. But like I said, it was ridiculous. And, HPD's come out and said that they felt like under normal circumstances that it was a properly manned event. There's no way, right? If there were not multiple thousands of security guards, law enforcement, event staff, there's no way you could have kept something like that under control. This isn't a Billy Ray Cyrus concert, right? This is Travis Scott, where people are going to rage. The energy is going to be high. It's going to be a lot of aggression or whatever else you want to call it. But then, like I said, it was extremely compacted. So I have another video I want to show, and then I'll kind of dive a little bit more into my thoughts on this. And I hadn't watched all of this one, so we'll see the views on this.
I wouldn't believe literally anything the news says. There's no way that they can come out and say 100 people died. Someone themselves literally saw 100 dead people. Like, there was bodies lined up everywhere. There's CPR being done in the crowds. It looks like what would be a mosh pit. There's no room for mosh pits. There's only room for the 8 people on the ground that are dead having CPR done. Those were our mosh pits. Our mosh pits were us dying. I picked up no subliminal messages from the website, the tickets. I didn't look. I didn't see. I wasn't paying attention. But now that I go back and I look at the flyer and I look at everything that I was around in the set, it's absolutely disgusting. We were literally being sucked into that spiraling hole of death that was portrayed in front of us. We're all suffocating, dying, and on the screen it reads, "See you on the other side," along with all the Illuminati symbols and the praying hand literally sucking our energy from us. I am 100% convinced that this was literally like an energy harvest. Like, this was literally like a satanic ritual. Travis Scott was snatching souls, literally snatching people's souls. I don't even want to know who was forgotten about in there, who couldn't be heard, who couldn't be helped. Like, when the people moved out, like when the concert was over, like, I want to know how many people were laying on that floor still. Because it wasn't 8 people. It wasn't 8 people. It wasn't just 8 people dead. There wasn't just 100 injured. There's probably hundreds dead and thousands injured. I have grown up on Travis Scott, #1 artist. Loved him. I've been to multiple of his concerts before he was even fucking Travis Scott. I've never experienced something like this. That man is done.
So, like I said, you're seeing hardcore Travis Scott fans. I'm not a Travis Scott fan, right? I don't care about his music. We had a Travis Scott fan call in last night who could recite no Travis Scott lyrics. Again, like I said, it's just that it's a situation where this was poorly planned, right? And again, you look at it and people were hurt, have died. There's no coming back from that. Travis has put out, his statement. He was supposed to perform at another concert. Let me pull that up. I have it somewhere over here. Where he was supposed to be performing at another concert, and he's canceled those plans. And let's do it like this. No, I don't want that. And I don't want that either. Let me make sure I don't put all my information out here. Y'all know how I'll be doing. Play us fuck up. But again, right? What's going on? All right. So, he's going to refund all the money, right? Cool. Excellent. But, what they said, tickets were like $200, something like that. Even if you refund all that, these people are still going to be permanently traumatized. There's still there's nothing that's going to erase this off the minds of people, right? But just to give you kind of a rundown of the updates, as we talked about it last night and where we are. Canceled Day in Vegas Festival. We're not performing this week. And I think it's only right. And whether he truly feels remorseful or does not, I cannot tell you, right? I cannot tell you this. I saw the statement he made. It was relatively odd to me. The rubbing of the head so much, but again, some people called in and said that he's an odd person. He's just kind of weird. So maybe, having to deal with something like this really is traumatizing. Maybe he just can't process it in his brain. Maybe drugs. We won't perform at this weekend's Day in Vegas Festival. Variety is confirmed. Headline appearance at the Las Vegas Festival ground scheduled for Saturday the 13th. Less than a week after his own AstroWorld Festival took place at Houston's NRG Park. 8 attendees died, ranging from 14 to 27. I have my own thoughts about a 14-year-old being in a situation like that. I don't know if parents were there or not. Again, the way the shit was, it was not an environment. Situations like that, these are not environments for children. If you're not 18, you probably shouldn't be there. But I assume the majority of Travis Scott's fans are young. He seems like a weird kind of emo-ish guy. I'm not saying he makes emo. I don't fucking know what kind of music you would classify that shit is. But everybody you saw there, that's not, it doesn't seem to be, and again, it's Houston, right? That wouldn't be your typical Houston rappers concert, right? The crowd he had looked to be primarily Hispanic and white. So again, he may reach out to a different crowd. But he says too distraught to play. And again, if he really feels that way, it's unfortunate that it's getting to him. If he doesn't feel that way, it's an excellent PR move, right? We just got to look at this shit honestly, like as for what it is. Sequence of events that led to the cardiac arrest of several concert goers. I've told you my thoughts on the cardiac arrest. It's very odd that in the day and age we live, with the certain regulations we have, some of the stipulations of going to the concert, having a certified jab, or showing a test showing that you were not positive for the Rona. At least one stabbing of a police officer with a hypodermic needle, along with hundreds more who were injured in the 50,000 strong crowd. I believe it had to be more than that, right? Like maybe they sold 50,000 tickets or something, but we saw how they were breaking down barriers. We saw how they were bum rushing the merch stand, and just how everything, they were like fucking sardines, right? So as according to Houston Chronicle, police and firefighters declared a mass casualty event at 9:38, 32 minutes after Scott's set began. See, look, y'all talk about me being late. Apparently he didn't start his set until 9:06, which I'm sure was supposed to be scheduled for 9. So even the pros do it. But the paper reported soon the promoters found a way to cut the concert short after the 9:38 casualty report. But the show continued until Scott ran through his planned set list and finished as scheduled at 10:15. So that means that, what is that? About another 35 minutes or so. Was that 37 minutes? After the mass casualty was declared, kept performing, right? I know people say, well, why didn't he stop? Okay. Well, Houston Police Chief Troy Finner says that they felt like an abrupt halt would have caused a riot. Said that it was not undermanned. The number of officers on hand should have been sufficient to handle a crowd of 50,000 under normal circumstances. Concert, I don't care about that guy. And it just kind of talks about the day in Vegas, Roddy Ricch, who, took his earnings and pledged his earnings to the families of those who died, which, he did that very quickly. So shout out to him. Jump over here. I want to talk about some of the people, right? And we're going to get to that. I want to talk about some of the people who were kind of caught up in this. And again, like I said, I personally believe, I've seen some other sources in other places that say differently, and that are saying that it's more than just 8. You know what I'm saying? That are there, right? But I don't know any grown folks who jam Travis Scott, right? So there's that. And shout out to some of the new names that we have here. Thinker Hayes, you gonna do what? You ain't gonna do shit. I mean, this ain't your arena, apparently. I just saw y'all block the shit. Y'all know how I feel about that. Y'all can leave whoever, wherever. Y'all ain't gotta block nobody. If a motherfucker don't know their lane, that's their own problem. Like I said, he's used to those conversations where it's one-sided. Look, y'all gotta understand, like, just because it's a black dude here at the top of the thing, I'm for everybody's conversation. I'm not the type of dude who has to run from any argument, conversation, or debate. So y'all can leave him and whatever. Y'all don't have to block anything at all, right? And Heidi, you keep being Heidi. Anywho, right? Like I say, the line will be open in a minute. So if you want to call in, we can definitely have whatever conversations you want to have. Like I said, I'm built for this. Anywho, you'll wait just like everybody else. So when the line is open, the line will be open. You'll be free to call. Fall in line, nigga. Anywho, let's see. Let's shout out to Andrea Lee. And yeah, you're upset, acting like a spoiled child. 335 International, good to see you. Anyway, talking about the people who were there, and I apologize for getting detracted. You know, I was trying to stay on point. Y'all know I'm trying to stay out the chat so I can try to be on point, then get in the chat. Because y'all know I get distracted. I got the ADHD. Anyway, ninth grader, 16-year-old dancer, and two best friends celebrating a birthday were among those killed in the crowd crush at AstroWorld, right? 8 people died, crowd surge, victim range 14 to 27. Among them were a ninth grade student athlete, a dancer, and 2 best friends. Let's kind of scroll down. Let's kind of just get to it, right? Make sure y'all can see it the same way I see it. Yes, absolutely. All right, cool. Jonathan Hilgert said was a high school, loved to play sports, including flag football and baseball. Described him as the sweetest, smartest young man. He was a good student, had a tight-knit family. Justin Higgs, his former best friend, actually kind of odd that they released the name of him being underage. Told the Post that Hilgert and his teammates all love Scott, listen to his music a lot, I'm sure. Brianna Rodriguez, student dancer, was beautiful, vibrant. Houston Heights High School in Houston, had a passion for dance. Dancing was her passion. And now she's dancing her way up to heaven's pearly gates. We as people make a lot of statements when we're sad. Sometimes those statements don't always make the most sense, but I get it. Best friends, Franco Patino and Jacob, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, 21 and 20. Met in elementary school in Naperville, Illinois. Best friends every step of each other's lives. And I guess they came down from Illinois to come check out Travis Scott again. People must really love this guy's music. So he was a big fan of Scott's music, bought the ticket 6 months before the festival to celebrate his 21st birthday on November 20th. And that sucks. The man never made it to 21. Was studying engineering at the University of Dayton. And so it seems to be, to be an engineer, you have to be relatively intelligent, I would assume. I don't get the association with Travis Scott's music. In the decade, said Jernick was particularly close with his father after his mother, Allison, passed away in 2011. Went to White Sox, Blackhawks games, professional wrestling, spending weekends with extended friends and family. This is a very interesting photo, right? And if y'all know me, if you've been around the dead long enough, you know exactly what I'm thinking. Doesn't mean it makes it any less sad, right? Johnny from Texas, thank you for becoming a member. Friends by the look of this here picture, right? So there's that. Let's see. Heidi, you're a terrible person. Danish bag, I don't know how you say that, 27 saved his fiance. And so it says his brother was killed in this horrendous Astroworld event that was managed poorly, supervised by such horrible people. And here's the thing, right? When you lose loved ones, you are going to view things in a certain way, right? And I've lost loved ones, I'm sure we all have. And you're going to view, especially if it's someone is at fault, your emotions can kind of blind you, right? And it can make you feel a certain way. And you want to blame somebody. You want to hurt somebody. You know, you want someone to suffer and feel the same pain that you're feeling. It's human nature. It's natural. But Like I said, I want to get into it. I want to get into a little bit more like who's to blame on this, and because I think that it could be, depending on how you view it. I mean, it could almost be anybody, right? Says I was there and I wasn't able to save my brother. People were hitting, pushing, shoving, did not care for anyone's life. I think that happens when you have a lot of that younger crowd, when you have a lot of younger people who are, I tell you my thoughts on the younger generation all the time. Like, I just don't think a lot of them are soulless, right? So that's why a lot of them, none of these symbols and this occult stuff, it didn't register to them. They don't care about it. It means nothing to them because they don't feel anything anyway, right? His fiance survived but was seriously injured. One of his brothers said in a recent interview, my sister-in-law is in pain. She was stomped on, hit, punched, horrendous things were happening to her. I don't want to mention. I don't know what he could be alluding to, but it's unfortunate. My brother was trying to save her, and he did. He saved her, and it cost him his life. And so I'm wondering how, was he trying to cover her up? What was happening? Like, I don't know. Like, again, with the crowds that we saw yesterday, as I showed you all the videos, all the thing, it just, man, with numbers like that, anything could have took place, right? Danish Beg was born in Pakistan but grew up in Euless, Texas. District manager for AT&T, was one of 4 siblings. And again, Alex Acosta, 21, computer science student. That's weird. You got an engineer and a computer science student. Does this music help you study better? On his 21st birthday, Western Washington University student Axel Acosta was killed at Astroworld Festival. He was from Titan. I'm probably messing that up. Was one of 8 people who died at Astroworld this past Friday. Cause of death still unclear at this time. It's crazy how many people have come from out of town who traveled to come to this concert. I don't want to say that makes it more devastating, because the loss of life is the loss of life, right? But the people who have ventured, who traveled to get here, probably have no one nearby, and now you have a loss of life, and family has to come out and travel to Houston to resolve this. And again, like I said, this is a tragedy, right? It really is. Rodolfo Pena, 23, aspiring Border Patrol agent. Rodolfo Rudy Pena was a 23-year-old Laredo College student who loved music, dancing, and cowboy gear. His eldest sister, Jennifer, told Rolling Stone. And then say he was studying criminology, the goal, and one day worked for U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And Madison Dubisky, 23, University of Mississippi graduate. Worked at Rhino Marketing Worldwide. Okay, she was a native of Cypress, Texas, so that's actually not that far from me. Words will never be able to describe the pain of losing my best friend, secret keeper, sissy, and soulmate. If you're fortunate enough to know Mads, I guess that's the nickname, Mads, how kind, sweet, generous, and loving she really was. Cannot wrap my head around it, right? And, a lot of pictures, a lot of videos that we've kind of discussed. They're talking about people who were suing him. So you have, let's just check the count on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so you got 8 people that they mentioned. You've seen the memorials. You see it's all over the place. Again, this is a very, very sad state of affairs that have occurred. So, yes. Let me issue out the warning again. Right, the Den is a free range place. All opinions are welcome. All personalities, all attitudes are welcome. Because I'm a firm believer that if you can't back up the things you say and or feel, then maybe you don't really feel that way. But it's a place where people are allowed to speak. And if you will realize, if you knew where the Den started and how we've gotten to the point we are now, well, it's a long story. I'll write a book about it one day. But again, the Den might not be for everybody, right? Because a lot of hardcore stuff goes on in here. And the mods are mods for a reason. So you kind of have to deal with that, or you have other options. So this is what I want to do, right? And this is what I want to talk about. I want to discuss the things that have taken place. And I want to open up the line because, like I said, I know there's some people who said they had some thoughts on some things. Yesterday, I wanted to discuss it and didn't get a chance to. But in the meantime, I want to bring up let me cut the line on first. I want to bring up the suit, right? A lot of people are suing Travis. Some people are trying to sue Drake because he appeared. You know, when people who have money show up a place, then people start figuring, and again, a tragedy happens, they're going to try to get it. You're sad, you're upset, you just want someone to pay, right? You feel like you're owed something, and money will never replace this. Money will never replace the lives that are lost, right? And it's sad. And death is the worst when it's unexpected, right? You know, it's different when you know somebody's kind of withering away, you know, it's kind of the end of life for them and they're dwindling down. That's one thing. But when it happens so unexpectedly, especially young life, it can be the most tragic. But I want to know, and again, if you're a part of the den, everybody's a part of the conversation, whether I'm on the phone with somebody, the questions I ask, I want to know what y'all think about them too. Everybody's opinion matters, right? Everybody's opinion matters. Who is really to blame for this? Do you feel like Travis Scott is at fault? That, you know, I pointed out last night, you got to think about it. He's a crowd of 50-something thousand people. I honestly believe the numbers are greater. He's performing. He's in his zone. You know, at one point, he's kind of raised up on a platform, so maybe he can see. Like I say, thinking about all the things that are going on. But is he scanning the entire crowd? Or is he just, you know, it's not a good thing to say, but you ever been driving, right? And you drive a long distance, or maybe you drive a familiar distance, you get in a car, and whatever amount of time it takes you to drive that distance, you arrive to your destination, you get out and you're like, you know what? I don't even remember driving here, because you're just kind of in that zone, or you're so used to doing it. Who knows? Maybe he's performed so many times, he's just kind of in another space, right? Or if you are a believer that he's into all of this satanic, occult, you know, shit, that who's not to say that he doesn't feel possessed. We've heard celebrities say, oh, they felt like their bodies get possessed when performing before. So maybe he's not alert. I'm not saying any of these things as excuses. I'm just pointing things out, right? So is Travis Scott at fault? Is Live Nation or the company who put this together, are they at fault for maybe, you know, not having it properly secured, selling too many tickets, maybe not having this thing mapped out accordingly, maybe not having enough security on hand? Is the security company at fault for not hiring having enough officers or personnel at the event? You know, who is really responsible? Or, hear me out, right? Hear me out. Yeah, many times on this channel, y'all have accused me of blaming the victim. And most of those times you were probably right. But hear me out. Or did human nature kill these people? Right? Not Mother Nature, but human nature. You're at a concert, it's rowdy, it's a lot of energy. You're talking about 50,000 people who don't have any real restraints, a lot of them young. Depending on where and you're coming from, you know, some cities, some places have looser restrictions than others, right? And so for some people, this may be the first real freedom they've gotten in months, maybe a year or so. You got a lot of young people, because again, if you watch that video where they broke in earlier in the day, it's a lot of young people, right? A lot of young people, a lot of energy, don't know what the fuck to do with themselves. They're ready to rage. They call themselves ragers, so they got this energy, right? And so, you know, is it people? Is it the people? Is it the crowd for being unruly? Are they to blame? And again, I pointed out, I've seen a lot of people talk about, you know, at various different concerts when you see somebody tap out. Like I said, I've never been on a stage like that. I don't know the angle. I can't, you know, condone it or disagree. But my thing is, I do kind of feel a way like when he did see the one guy pass out, he's like, security, you know, get over there, get that guy. But he kind of kept it going. He's like, kind of like, hurry up and get that guy. And then, you know, kind of keep the show going. Like, I think that there was an ulterior, like I know people said they were afraid that, you know, the crowd might riot. They were already rowdy. They were already you know, squished up against each other, if they did cut the show short, would they have dispersed peacefully? Like, I want to know your thoughts. Anyway, I'll open up the line. Let's take some calls. I want to know your feelings. The number. Oh, I ain't even got the dilly dally on. Tripping. Play as fuck up. All right. No, that's the wrong button. That'll end everything. Where's the damn thing? There we go. What's the button? Oh, there it is. It's in the corner. I'm probably looking at shit. I'm looking. I'm expecting to be at the top. 832-694-1337. 832-694-1337. If you have something to say, if you have something you'd like to discuss, if you have a point of view maybe that hasn't been discussed, you know, something I may have missed, I am only human. You know how I feel about that saying. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening? What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening? Can you cut down the stream in the back? There's a little bit of an echo.
Down,
okay, all right, appreciate
it. Down, bro.
Okay. Who we got calling in tonight?
All right. Yeah, my name is Jay, man. I'm calling you from San Antonio, not too far from where all this took place. But yeah, I got to kind of put it on the artist and the event holders, because way back in the day, I'm gonna kind of give you my age. I was at right around the same venue at Houston Raceway Park at the first Lollapalooza. And if you remember Pearl Jam, when this happened, man, that lead singer literally stopped the entire. This was the first Lollapalooza. It was epic. It had like Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Ice Cube, Ministry, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Eddie Vedder from I can't even remember the name of the Pearl Jam. Yeah, I remember he stopped the concert, bro, and he was like, you know, pick that guy up. People are more important than music any effing day. Everybody responded. They picked the dude up and crowd surfed him to the stage, man, where the guy was performing, and then they carried him off. So it was a different era. So I think you're right about the youngsters now. You know, man, it's a different era. But I do think Travis Scott is going to be held liable. He's going to take a lot of losses on this. I don't think he'll ever be insurable again. It would take a crazy company to insure that brother.
I agree.
But yeah, I definitely think he's liable for this, man.
Okay. And I definitely see it too, because like I said, you know, you're a high risk type of performer. You know, you're encouraging people to do crazy shit. This isn't the first time. I think they said there's been 2 other cases. One time in 2017, he caught like 3 misdemeanors for a situation, I guess inciting a riot or something like that. And then in 2017, he had, 2015, he had another case. So like I said, this isn't something new. I just think this one kind of maybe played out a little bit different. But at that Lollapalooza, was it a good concert? Was it a memorable concert in your opinion?
Absolutely. It was epic, man. The first one was, you know, there'll never be another concert like that again. The second one, here's the thing too, about kind of shows the mentality of the young dogs then and the young dogs now. I was 17, and the second Lollapalooza I went to had Arrested Development. I don't even know who else was there. That's all I can remember was Arrested Development. That was 28 years ago.
Yeah.
I got to the front gate and they started rushing.
Yeah.
I already had a paid ticket, man. I turned around and went back to the motel alone. All my friends, they kept going in. I'm like, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I didn't even use my ticket. So I never even saw one act on the second Lollapalooza, and I had a paid ticket. But I had the awareness to turn around, you know, at being 17. But everybody else kept walking, so I was a minority in that group. My friends all wound up getting injured at the second one. You know.
So do you feel like because like I said, I showed some videos yesterday you may or may not have seen, you know, because a lot of people were breaking into this concert early on during the daytime before everything even got started. So you think that concerts kind of have maybe a foreboding energy prior to, like when something like that happens, kind of lets you know the energy of the crowd or how people are going to be? Do you think that's a sign? Because you kind of, you think there's a little bit of a correlation to the situation you just mentioned?
Absolutely, big time. It was a precursor to what was going to happen at the second Lollapalooza. Before it even opened, they were already rushing the gate. That freaked me out. You know, you can't knock out 30 people at a time when you're being pushed around. So yeah, as a precursor to Lollapalooza then, and what I saw at the Travis Scott where they were rushing, it was clear as day. Had I saw that and been young, I would have lost $400 right there.
Yeah.
because back then I think I lost $75. Man, that was a lot of money to a 17-year-old brother from the hood. You know, I mean, I was hurting. Man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
cut a lot of yards to get that $75.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, it wasn't worth it to me, like at that point in time. So it was definitely a precursor, man. That was a clear indication to turn around.
Okay.
But a lot of people just, you know, I don't know what it is with this young generation now that can't. Maybe I don't know, man. I don't want to ever put a judgment on a whole entire group of people, but there is clearly a difference, and I've heard you mention that several times about the soulless nature of it. It is true, man. I saw people getting pushed in mosh pits on Lollapalooza 1, but people stopped. Even Pearl Jam, the leader of the group, he stopped the concert. I mean, that was crazy, considering that I think there was like 40,000 people there, 30,000 people at Houston Raceway Park. He stopped the entire concert for one female, and everyone stopped what they were doing. You know, they cared, and now it just seems like these people, I don't know, bro. It just don't. It seems like a different generation.
Yeah, I think.
And I know that's.
Yeah, I think we've lost a lot of, but I think honestly we've lost a lot of that human connection. Because back then, you know, people interact with one another. You know what I mean? And now everything is through some form of digital medium. There's no real face to face. You know, people don't even really talk. It's more through text and you know, picture messaging or whatever. You know, people rather text you, send you a text message than talk to you on the phone. I think that's not the whole thing, but I think that plays into a part of it, that we've lost that connection. We don't see each other as real anymore, you know. And then, you know, with the events over the last year or so, how people have been that much more distant from one another. I think all of this is playing into the mentality, especially of the young folks who haven't quite fully developed into, you know, maturity and adulthood and a full understanding. So I think that plays a little bit into it.
Definitely. And one more thing, as a parent, I was a single dad. I raised 2 children alone. They're less than a year apart. A son and a daughter. Now they're 24 and 25. Both successful young adults and doing good in life.
Salute to you.
I'm a brother, and you know, I did what I was supposed to do as a dad. So with that being said, I never allowed them to go to concerts like this. Call it old school, call it old fashioned, call it overprotected. It was just something I did not do. The first concert they went to, my brother, I was right there with them. They were 17 and 18. And, you know, I didn't give them cell phones till they were in 11th grade. And that kids got phones at 5 and 6 years old.
Yeah.
You know, not that I'm judging. I'm not judging.
I'm judging shit. I'm judging like a motherfucker. I'm judging everybody.
Okay, now that you opened the platform, I am judging. Yeah. You know, but I actually was there with them at their first concert. Yeah, there was weed being passed around, but at least I was there as a parent. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I let them do their thing, you know? It wasn't no weird, nerdy, you know, y'all go have fun, do your thing. But I can see where they were at, and I was there. But so I would never let my kids go to a show like that, man. And 13, 14. Man, they were 16 and 17 when we went to the first concert. But, again, I was there. Yeah. And it was indoors in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome, held by the radio station, you know. 2 Chainz did an epic performance, man. I mean, I got so much respect for that brother after that performance. It was crazy. But, you know what I mean? I don't understand how parents allow their children to be in that vulnerable position. Then I thought everyone kind of was like, well, I was there a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old. Well, somebody probably had a baby at 13. I mean, you know, somebody probably was as young as a damn kid that was there down there, maybe 11, 12 years apart. I don't know. It don't make no sense for me either. I wouldn't allow it, but a 14-year-old being killed, I'm going to tell you, I don't want to give away like my profession, but I'll just put it like this. Had it been my son, the legal battle, I would not have slept. Yeah. I mean, I would have attacked every single person until, you know, they had, you know, there's no dollar amount that you can put on it, but I would have went after everybody with every lawsuit I possibly could have. I mean, they should pay, and I see the start of the legal process starting. That lawyer does look like he might have a little something going for him, but I'm not a fan of class action. I think that individual lawsuits far more effective than class action, because in the end, the class action lawyers get paid and kind of don't. But, you know, I would be attacking this with individual lawsuits. I wouldn't join a class action because at the end of the day, you're gonna get I hate to say that, man. You just gonna get a bigger payday when you go individual. But again, it's not about the money; it's about the justice. You ain't never gonna bring them back with no amount of money. But you know, that's my 2 cents on that. I think that he should be held liable. I think that in the future, I don't see how he's gonna ever be able to be insured. Maybe he'll do shows without insurance. I don't know, but in the end, I think he's liable, because some of them videos, man, I kind of slowed them down and zoomed in on him. And the brother, if he couldn't see that, he messed up when he was looking right in that direction. If he really had game, he would have turned the other way around. Yeah. But, you know, I think he saw that, man. And there's a pattern and a history of this. So even that not being my forte of law, making the connections from the past, it wouldn't be difficult to show a pattern of past behavior, which is a predicator of future behavior, and what we just saw. So I think that he's gonna get hammered. And I think he deserves to get hammered.
Yeah, and like I say, and I don't disagree with you. But what do you think about as far as, you know, as far as even doing shows? How do you think fans? Because we saw, you know, 2 people who said that they're big hardcore fans, that they're kind of falling back. Do you think that this has turned off a big segment of his fan base, or do you think, you know, he'll still sustain, you know, relatively solid numbers?
I think it's gonna hurt his fan base. I think, and I oddly enough, I actually have some friends who are in the music industry. I work with some hip hop artists. I don't want to say their name. They are well known. I don't want to really get into that, but I'm also in the music industry, and I work, and I'm not a rapper. It's just on more on the business side. But I think it's going to hurt his numbers. It's going to hurt his numbers, and I think that people, if they can't see this now, they've been kind of used as pawns. You know, I know the rage culture, I get it, but that you're formed people here, young people. I'm gonna give you this, man. You're being used as a form of entertainment for someone else's benefit. You're paying a man to use you as the entertainment. When you went to a show to see entertainment, you're part of the damn circus. Think about that, young people. You know what I'm saying? That being used as part of the act. But man, you're not getting no money from that show. You're paying to see a show. Don't become the show. Go see the show. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's gonna hurt his numbers. Sorry, man.
No, you're good. You're good. Absolutely. I'm not trying to go to no show where I can't sit down. Look, my knees ain't what they used to be. You know, I gotta be somewhere where I can have a seat. I need a ticket with my seat number on it, so I ain't gotta fight nobody for my seat, anything like that. I can't do the festival thing. So yeah, that's like I say, it's tragic, everything that took place, and it really is unfortunate. I'm not saying like I want negative to happen to anybody, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a very interesting road back for that man if, you know, he makes it back close to anywhere where he was.
The very odd part too is, I guess, why I wanted to call and I was a little compelled. I'm gonna get one more little backstory. I got my graduate degree from. He went to my alma mater in 2009, 2010, and I distinctly, at that time, the first black fraternity was becoming bigger at the campus in San Antonio here. And I can distinctly remember seeing him on the first floor of the Liberal Arts building from that 2009, 2010. So something about his face always registered with me. And now, because I have a master's degree in history, and so I was always in the liberal art and also a legal degree. But I was always in that liberal arts building. So I actually crossed paths with Travis Scott years back. Now, he didn't graduate from UTSA from what I understand, but I can remember distinctly seeing him like at a step contest, and also they were freestyling. And they would kind of meet on the first floor of the Liberal Arts building. So for him to become this big, I didn't even make the connection. I'm like, yo, oh, man, that dude's the same. Then I started I never really said this out loud to anybody, but I started making the connection. Damn, I was always in that building. And then I looked up, I'm like, lo and behold, he was actually on campus, and I think he was liberal arts or something major, but he was in that building, which where a lot of the basic courses were given. And so now to just see this, like, I don't know about all that demonic stuff, but I do get why people are saying that. But I think that that's ultimately going to become a detractor for what the real issue is, loss of human life. What do you think about the demonic conversation? And
Yeah,
how do you?
I think human nature, people seeing stuff like that, especially like again, with things that they're not familiar with, things they don't understand, things that are maybe not common in culture. And I think that's going to play against him. People can easily use that with his character. Hey, like I said, point out a lot of things, a lot of symbolism. Like I said, the occult or the esoteric or whatever. A lot of people are crying about the portal. See you on the other side. The flames, the phoenix. That's symbolic of beginning anew, rising from the ash. Like all the little things that go along with it. So I think that will be turned around and kind of played into his hands. Even the young girl, she said, I didn't think about any of that before the concert. Then after everything that happened, I go back and I look at it. So now people are going to try to put two and two together. And if everything would have went off without a hitch, I don't think anybody would have cared. It was, oh, that was cool, special effects, whatever. But now, after what happened, people are going to be looking to make those connections. So I think that's going to come back and bite him too. Because I think people say, hey, this is his character. This is what he's into. They're going to find those correlations. They're going to find a way to use that against him.
The symbolism. The symbolism. I see. So this is bigger than just, okay, I'm starting to make the thing. There must be something that I didn't see as far as what the presentation was, the physical. So there was actually pictures that said, see you on the other side?
Yeah, it was, I'll pull it up and think, but yeah, it was on one of the main stages. That he had in his background, it says, see you on the other side. They were saying that there were signs talking about, will you survive? He's talking about a whole, new universe. I mean, just a lot of different things that he's kind of into some different stuff you don't traditionally hear most rappers talking about. So, like I said, I think that they will use that kind of against him, you know what I mean? And so,
yeah. I agree then. I agree. I thought they were talking strictly depth. Okay, so there was that, and there were actually statements made. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. And one more thing I noticed too. I noticed that there wasn't a lot of black people.
No.
Didn't seem unless I was tripping.
No, it was not.
Black that well when we that close to now. Okay, let me shut up.
No. I mean, you right. You right. Speak. Hey, it's the den, man. Everything. We gonna be 100% honest. We ain't got to sugarcoat it. Cause somebody pointed out yesterday. They was like, oh, ain't no black people. I was like, oh, stop joking. And then as I kind of went back and started looking, I'm like, yeah, there for a rapper, especially being here in Houston. That I didn't see very many. I saw, lots of Hispanic youth. I saw a lot of, whites. I saw a couple of mixed looking folks. But like I said, it just for what you would expect to see at a rap concert, in an area with a solid black population, you didn't see very many black folks there.
Right. And that I think too has to do with that behavior. I mean, that behavior is not something that's where I think he takes advantage of his audience. He knows this, and he knows he could not get black folks to move that way. If you went back to the Ghetto Boys days, to the Screwed Up Click, Big Pokey,
Podina.
you not. Yeah, Big Pokey was that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a free. Yeah, Lil Kiki. Man, I'm from. I know the Fifth Boy, all that.
Okay.
But they were talking what was a part of a lifestyle then and what you would see on the streets in an area of a given city. Whether or not you agree to what was being rapped about, the 90s was about being real and what was actually going on. Not all of them. Like Tupac may not have come from all poverty. I get it. But he had a way to articulate it in a way that we could all relate. So be that what it may, I think that's the thing that I was just talking about is they have become part of the entertainment. And he knows that. And you can show a pattern of him abusing that. And that little boy where he did that with his shoe, again, if I was his daddy, man, if my son was that where he's spitting on him, everything he did to him would have been worth tens of millions of dollars. I mean, he got the pattern, and if you don't lose fans on this, it shows the self-worth that the fans have placed on themselves.
I agree.
I mean, really, you got to be able to at least call it. The only power that the fans has is to vote with their dollars.
Correct.
Meaning, you cannot keep supporting being taken advantage of and treated like you really ain't. You're expendable, disposable commodities that are used as part of an act. I mean, as parents, we got to do better to teach these kids to think for themselves and be their own people. And that's why I'll leave it with that, brother. I mean, hey, your show, you're gonna be one of the biggest shows on YouTube. I'm gonna predict that right now. You got that swag, man. You got that energy.
Well,
Keep it up, brother.
I appreciate that, Jay. I appreciate that, man.
100, man.
All right, man. Well, thank you for calling in, and man, I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Absolutely, brother. And I'm gonna keep supporting you, man.
No, I appreciate that.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Great call. That was a great call. Heidi, everybody hates you, Heidi. You're a terrible person. You're a terrible mod. I don't even know why I gave you a wrench mod. So shame on you, Heidi. But yeah, and like I said, I'm gonna see if I can find that video while we're on the line. For those of you who may not have seen it, the way he did that kid. I'm gonna be honest, and that's why I say, like I say, for those who don't know, I'm out here in the city. I'm in Houston. And when I first, ever heard of Travis Scott, I thought he was like a dude from Atlanta or something. Like it was not like what I knew growing up in Houston, right? It was not the same type of sound that we came up with. So I thought, like, and again, even like the young dudes out here in Houston, it's not the same sound. It's different. But even then, he just had a different sound. Like it just something about him was odd to me, right? And I've never really been a big fan. But again, shout out to Jay, man. That was a great call. And that's what people said. That's what the one young lady said. She felt like she was under mind control. They felt like they were being sucked in that portal. But again, you got to think about it. You're in a group with so many people, all of that oxygen being sucked out of the area. I mean, it's hard to breathe. You're compressed. You're on top of each other. And I think, a lack of oxygen will make you a little delusional. It'll make you faint. It'll make you all of these things. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we have calling into the den this evening?
What's up, Honcho? This is your boy, Brody B. Triple OG, Brody Lunk.
Well, all of you, if you are new to the den, this may be the worst caller that we have, but we tolerate him. He's not all bad. No, I'm just messing with you. Broderick, what's good, man? What's on your mind, man? How are you feeling about this whole situation? And you kind of being a bit I'm gonna give some of those who don't know a preface. Being a bit more of a religious man, you said. Would you say that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you looking at this and the symbols and the things around it, and I know you've been kind of doing a little bit of research. Give me your thoughts on it. How do you feel about this whole situation?
First and foremost, man, I'm just sick for all of them people that lost somebody in that and not only just the people that lost somebody, the people that had to witness what was going on. That's a traumatic experience for anyone to be there. I couldn't imagine being in that crowd, in that environment. I mean, that's got to have psychological effects on thousands of people that were there, So, I just feel for them as well as the people that lost somebody, because who knows what comes out of that for those people that had to witness that, man. It's sad. But, yeah, there was a lot of symbolism, and sadly, it doesn't take a whole lot of research to figure a lot of this stuff out that's going on, because you and me are alike in the sense that we don't know who Travis Scott really is. I don't know a single Travis Scott song, and we always talk in the Discord and the den and everything. Most of y'all be talking about some of these rappers or somebody. I read every time, who is that? I never heard of that person. He's in that same category. Never heard of his music or anything like that. So after all of this happened, I just did a few searches and because some of the videos that you brought up, and shout out to you, Honcho, because I'm gonna say this right here. After all of the videos, all the YouTubers I've been watching talking about this thing, I haven't heard a single one of them mention that symbol that you picked up in that flyer and the shirt that he had on.
Are you talking about the ones where they were walking
Nope.
through that little gateway looking thing?
Yes. 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 That's part of the symbolism, and nobody else has picked up on that. So shout out to you, man, because that's something that I wouldn't have caught that.
Mm-hmm.
So not only did you have that, but just looking at his set and the way his set was designed, and a lot of the graphics and art that were being displayed on the LED boards and everything, especially like the phoenix and the fire, the vortex, all of these things are demonic in nature. The upside down cross, his stage was an upside down cross.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that from the sky, and it's like nobody has said anything about this. Nobody has picked this up. The images you showed last night about see you on the other side, and so the first red flag for me when I saw they were showing in that morning about AstroWorld and the festival that was about. This was before any chaos took place, but I saw that big Travis Scott head and that mouth wide open. So that was the first red flag for me, because scripture just immediately popped in my head right then and there. I think it's Isaiah 5:14, where it speaks of hell opening his mouth and the revelers, and all spill in, and it spoke to me right then and there. And then I just started seeing more and more symbolism. And then I started looking at the dude's album covers. And his first album cover, he's kneeling with his eyes all, blacked out or whited out or whatever, looking like he's possessed, with black angel wings. And I'm like, man, if anybody out here is denying what they're seeing before their eyes, it's no hope for you. Because Honcho, here's one thing. What do we always say in the den? What are the tenets? What are one of the tenets in the den, especially when we discuss politics? We always say, when somebody show you who they are, what?
You believe them.
Exactly. So why are people running around saying, "Oh, this wasn't that," or "This wasn't," it's just a show. And anytime somebody get ready to lie to you, they started out with "it's just."
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I got a question for you, real quick. I
Saying,
don't mean to cut you off
yes,
real
sir.
quick. Let me make a point, because and I wanted to make this about the symbolism, right? So you're making reference to these things, and people say, "Oh, it's just this, it's just that." Now, if someone was to randomly don a shirt with a swastika on it, do you think those same people who were saying it's just right now, or that symbolism doesn't mean this, that, or third, and you try to say, "Oh, that person's not a racist, that person's not a Nazi, they're just wearing a swastika because it's kind of
Right.
cool, it's trendy." Would you think they would
Right.
believe in the same? They wouldn't. And so I don't understand why some people are dismissive of this, but they are more than willing to be ready to accept that. I think it's all in the same realm. But I'm sorry, interrupting you. Carry on.
Well, it's very simple why they dismiss this, because the greatest lie ever told is that the devil doesn't exist, and I'm here to tell you that's so far from the truth. So that's why they have been conditioned to look past the devil, but everything else is acceptable. But we have been conditioned, it's the devil's plan, and it's like, and I know you got the atheists and the people that are on the fence and all of that kind of stuff that I always talk noise. First of all, you can't hurt my feelings. It takes a whole lot to hurt my feelings, so you're not gonna do it that way. So if that's what you're gonna do, try to attack that, go right ahead. Give me your best shot. Doesn't affect me any. I expect it. But I'm telling y'all now, if you keep denying Jesus Christ, he said in his word, "You deny me before men, I'm going to deny you before my Father who's in heaven." And that's what these people are doing. You keep looking past the devil, and then you deny Christ before men. That's all that's going on. And we can't seem to grasp. Look at what happened when they took the Bible out of schools and prayer out of schools. The schools went haywire, bro. You can't tell me that this does not have a connection. Anywhere that you do not want God to be, he will not be. And chaos and anarchy will ensue. It's been going on since the beginning of time. If you don't want him there, he's not going to be there. You know? He wants to be, God wants to be wanted. You know what I'm saying? That's what people don't realize. He's not going to force himself on anybody. So if we as a society keep denying him, he's going to remove his grace. And he's slowly doing that now, because you can see the events that's going on in the world. God is starting to remove his grace and his protection, you know. So I'm just telling y'all now, it's time to stop playing around and get right. It's either you going to stop saying, oh, well, I'm not religious, I'm more spiritual. Keep on riding that fence like that. That's all you're doing is denying Jesus Christ before men, because you don't want to be labeled a certain way. Well, you're going to be labeled someone that is not going to be saved in the end if you keep on riding that fence. You know, that's all I got to say. Don't sit here and look past all the symbolism. He's clearly performing on an upside down cross. He is clearly putting images of the phoenix, which is some kind of Greek god who was associated with the sun god Ra, some kind of crap like that. You know, this is all demonic stuff. This is devil worship. And people have to realize that. But you had all of those people, he had them kids under a spell, bro. They were in a trance. They probably did not know what they were doing, you know. And some kids have reported that they didn't feel like they were being pushed, but that they were being pulled, you know. And I don't deny it. There was reports of some people saying that there was a dark entity on the dome, you know. Stop looking past this stuff like it's just, you know, like Ashley's call last night. It was just, I'm sorry, it was just the dumbest call that I ever heard. And I mean, just, you know, and I don't mean to be mean like that, man, but that was just the dumbest call. It was a special kind of stupid call, you know, just to sit here and just. But that's where we at as a society, bro. We deny everything that is true right before our eyes, bro. It's crazy. And, you know, this was just, it seemed like a huge ceremony and indoctrination. So the money does not even matter. The fact that he's going to have to pay tens of millions of dollars, that doesn't even matter. It's the souls that are trying to be gathered. It don't matter about the money. They made about $20 million an hour off of ticket sales alone. Come on, bro. So you think these people care about them lawsuits? No.
But do you think that this could possibly have the reverse effect? Because like you said, a lot of people said that they were feeling something evil, or they were feeling something, you know, demonic. Like I said, the little dude, he made relatively devil music. Like I said, his name was Diablo Santiago or something. He's talking about, y'all know the music I make, and God told me, you know, this ain't for me. So do you think that maybe this has a reverse effect on people who might have been non-believers, might have been more into, you know, something else, that feeling that negative vibe, that negative energy, the stories that are coming out? Do you think that could actually bring people closer to God?
I actually do, because if you know the history of God, God takes this kind of tragedy and uses it for his glory. And in the process of doing so, he gains more souls. It happens every single time. You know, the people that were allowed to survive this thing, you have another chance, you know, and being able to see this stuff up. But the saddest thing about the whole set and the design, which is all strategic, it's all planned, it's all engineered, it's perfectly to get people into a certain state of being while they're there. It's all by design. Nothing was a mistake. So what they did was they made hell seem like a place that was going to be fun. All of the lights, all of the music, all of the crowd rage, and all of the sex and drugs, and because you know all of that kind of stuff was going on in that crowd. You know, let's just keep it real. So they were trying to glorify hell as being a fun place to be. He even said in a video, "You are in hell and you cannot get out." At this AstroWorld concert, nobody is talking about that. Why not? You know, and it's just absolutely crazy. So yeah, I do believe that a lot of those that were in attendance uh, will realize that this is not what I want for my eternity, you know, and get right with God. But sadly, the majority of them probably will not, you know.
It'll fade off and they'll get back to the same stuff that they was on.
Yeah, because that's how we condition. We're desensitized to stuff like this. But I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna get off last thing. There was a minister that I always post up every now and then on my Instagram or Facebook. He goes by the name of Pastor G. Craig Lewis. He's out of the Dallas area. And he, at least 15 years ago, came out with a series called The Truth Behind Hip Hop. So I'm going to tell you how I found this guy on YouTube. I was actually searching something about Tupac and still being alive or something like that. And instead of the foolishness that I was looking for, his video popped up, The Truth Behind Hip Hop. He has, I think it's like a 12 or 15-part series. And he, way back then, was talking about exactly what's going on now in hip hop and said that it was going to get to this point and that it was going to get worse. Everything he said in those videos has come true. And everything he said was real. But one of the things that he mentioned, he drew a connection to rock and roll. He said that hip hop was going to turn into what heavy metal and death metal used to be. And this is exactly what is going on. You never saw rappers back in the day with tattoos all on their face and their whole body and everything just looking like with upside down crosses and, you know, straight up disrespecting Jesus, even though their actions was disrespecting them. But, you know, rappers didn't do that kind of stuff blatantly. But now you see the rappers nowadays, they look exactly like those old heavy metal and death metal artists that used to do the same kind of stuff. He said this 15 years ago that this is what was going to happen. And I'll be damned. It's happening. And he also mentioned 15 years ago about the frequencies in the music. Kanye West just came out and said the same thing. He said it, that the frequencies in the music, the drum beats and everything, he said you can track this back to Africa with the tribes and stuff like that. They certain beats they use would affect your mood and the ability to put you into a trance. So this is all by design, even the music. But, you know, that's my piece, Honcho. But again, shout out to you, man, for picking up on that and doing this and talking about it, man. It needs to be talked about.
I agree. Now, that Pastor G. Craig Lewis, I think I might have stumbled across him way back in the day. Back in the days of DVDs, when niggas were still watching DVDs. I had a homeboy, and that's, you know, that's when, what was that? It was that Zeitgeist DVD was going around, you know, talking about conspiracy behind the 9/11. It was a couple other DVDs going on, but I had a partner, and, you know, we chill, have us a little session or whatever, and he brought this one, because I stayed by the school, and so when he was going to school, he would stop by, and so, like I say, we check it out. And I remember watching it because I think that one was specifically like maybe about, I think, Beyonce and T.I. in that that one he was talking about. It might have been the first one in the series. I can't remember. But he had some very interesting, very valid points. And like I say, even then, you know, at that point, I wasn't, you know, too much in anything too religious or anything like that. But I'm like, he is making sense. There are a lot of things that I see that do correlate, that do, you know, that do resonate. And so I know what you're talking about. He does make a lot of sense. So that for those of you who are interested, it might be a very interesting thing to check out.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well, that's about Mr. Broderick, man. I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts tonight. Do I smell a den debate coming up between you and Ashley? Is that what I'm hearing? You know, it sounds like you.
It ain't necessary.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
It's not a fair fight.
That's a bet, man. I appreciate it, Mr. Broderick.
All right, big homie.
All right, you have a good one.
Yeah.
Shout out, Mr. Brody. But again, yeah, and for those of you who are kind of curious what I was saying about the shirt is just, you know, How these guys start off blue and round-headed, like normal human beings on one side. They pass through this gate, this portal. You know what I mean? And then, you know, they turn into these red generally being angry or a color of power. I got my power shirt on today. And then their heads become spiked, become horned. You know what I mean? What is that about? What is really going on? You know, seeing you on the other side. There are a lot of things, like I say, that people will look at and you'll say, you know what? What does that mean? And even if you don't think it personally has a meaning, even if you don't personally feel like it means something to the person who designed it, who's wearing it. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
Hello, it is Andrea Lee again.
How are you doing this evening, Miss Andrea Lee? How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. I would like to talk a little more. I mean, I've been in the chat and absolutely watching your live, but can we talk a little bit more about somebody who's going around injecting people during this concert?
Yeah, I heard the police say something about that, and I'm curious how many people may or may not have been injected with the crowds being so squished against each other. You may not have even realized it. So.
And let me tell you, my father is an ex-addict, okay? Heroin, and on top of it, I've had my own issues, okay? I don't understand why anyone would do something so horrific, so horrible. What is there to gain from something like that, unless you just are under... And I hate to go on the conspiracy theory, under a spell, or is it part of a grand plan? I don't know. But it's absolutely disgusting. And a part of me, like, I feel like when I watch the news, and again, a lot of it I don't always believe, but, I mean, what have you heard? I've only heard at least one person was injected that they know of, that thank God they brought back with Narcan.
Yeah, and that's the main one that I heard myself. And again,
exactly.
And so, but I mean, like I say, with everything that was just going on, you know, again, like, you know, people being so pushed up against you, been thinking maybe I just got pinched, or maybe, you know, it was this with the bruising. You know, people talking about being bruised and sore and all that. I mean, so you could easily have, you know, got somebody, and then you kind of ask, what is there to gain? I think in a situation like that, if you are out there poking people, it would have to be of malicious intents. I mean, nobody's out there giving out free corona shots or anything like that. It would have to be, I hate to say it, I don't know if somebody's out there trying to spread disease
let me tell you, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but as an addict and an ex-addict, which I am, I would not waste anything on that. And let me tell you, that is not something I would want on anybody. But if I had my supply, why the hell would I do that to anybody? Including just myself, because I am not that type of person. But it just is unbelievable that, okay, so someone is sick enough to go out there and do this. Like, what influence, what, you know, what is there to gain unless there's something else? And then here we go down my rabbit hole, which I hate to go into, but again, with my conspiracies, is that, you know, they're trying to get people supposedly to stay home, to stay away from concerts, to watch the, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called, but like the digital concerts or from home type thing, where they're having people be more online and you know, synced up to the internet. And I don't know what that is exactly, or how to.
Basically a digital concert. Yeah, I mean, just that's what I would call it.
Right. It's absolutely, that's disturbing. And you know what? I have not heard that person has been caught, and God knows has he? I mean, has this?
I mean, let's be honest. It's going to be practically impossible to,
Right.
because even the person who got poked and passed out, they revived with the Narcan. If you don't have a description, you don't have any idea. There's so much helter skelter chaos going on.
Right.
People probably couldn't even tell the people who were right next to them. I mean, like I say, people were getting just bombarded, overwhelmed. People from the back of the crowd pushing, trying to get to the front. The lack of organization or structure, and like I say, just it was pure craziness.
Right. And the thing is, last time, like I said, there's a difference between a concert and a festival, but I do know a security guard that works in Massachusetts at Gillette Stadium, and he knows that there are cameras everywhere. They have police. I mean, he's like, I can literally tell you, hey, girl in the white shirt with the, black glasses, like, you need to stop or move or we're removing you. Like, there is so much technology around these stadiums. I mean, maybe because I live in Massachusetts, I don't know if there's a difference between Texas and, other things, or a festival and a concert, but it's just like, it's mind-blowing to me that you're saying during an investigation that you can't find, and I understand what we talked about last night about how the raid of the people with no tickets and everything. Yeah, you can't stop all those people. You can't, but yet, the cameramen saw them and everything, but it's unbelievable that, it's just absolutely disgusting.
I agree. Like I said, I just think it's a bit different being like in a stadium, where you have everything kind of organized. You got certain areas where you're funneling everybody through. Everything's more indoors versus, kind of a makeshift pop-up type environment. So again, I'm sure, this camera technology is increased significantly over the years. I'm sure you could, but I don't know if they did. I have a feeling they probably didn't.
But then, I mean, again, through, and I'm not going to shout out Def Noodles, but I do watch Def Noodles, and I'm sure you know who he is. He was a little upset about the fact that, you have all these pyrotechnics and you have all this stage technology, and I don't know all that jargon, or let me tell you, I'm not technology, I'm not. I don't know any of that, but I can barely get through my own password. I barely know it. But what I'm saying is that I was thinking about it. It's like you're telling me a staff, a crew member, somebody didn't run on that stage and just grab Travis or say, hey, we need to make, room. This needs to be shut down. Things need to happen that, and it's just absolutely devastating. And honestly, again, this is fueling that, and this is what's sad. I don't want to be this conspiracy theorist, but at the same time, it's fueling more of it for me because it's so sick and sad. And even my own mother was like the vibes of it and the negativity, and then watching the red flags, which we talked about last night, where people were going through, which I call gate 2. It's absolutely disturbing. And and you know what? And then there's some freak out there that's stabbing people. Like, I don't understand any of it. I don't. And it's just it's really just, it's disturbing. And I can't, you may call me naive, you may call me stupid for not wanting to watch the news and not wanting to keep up with current events, but I am just so sick of it because it's like, it feels like almost like I was joking around with somebody, like, okay, we have, COVID. It's like, when's the next horseman coming of the apocalypse? Because it's getting so bad.
It's sad, but I wouldn't call you naive. I'm personally, I don't watch very much of the news myself because honestly, they're complicit in a lot of the crazy stuff that's going on, and they're disingenuous with a lot of the information that they put out.
Right.
I'd rather get information from more independent sources or other YouTubers who may have been on the ground or people who've actually been there than really go to the news,
Right.
because the news, they all seem to have an agenda, and I feel like the same thing here. And I know somebody mentioned, and I kind of briefly alluded to it last night, but at this show, everybody had to have either a negative COVID test or you had to have been vaccinated. We've
Right,
seen,
which I do agree with. Yes, I
but
do.
we've seen a lot of fallout from the vaccinations.
Exactly.
A lot of people have complained about heart issues. You've seen professional athletes who've had heart issues, what is myocarditis because of this. And so then you're in a situation where people are talking about it's hard to breathe, they're congested,
Oh
they
my
can't
God.
move. And
Right.
so say some of these people may have had adverse reactions that didn't know that they had adverse reactions to go and get it. They may have just recently got it, who knows? This could possibly been a trigger. This could be a thing that and this is personally, a belief that I think is quite possible.
Right.
You've gotten this, you haven't been in an event like this. Like I said, the body heat, the compression from all the
Yep.
people trying to move
And
around.
and again, I'm going to bring it up again. The $7 bottle of water, which nobody probably, whether you ran the gate right at the gates or not. I mean, who's going to want to pay that? I mean, it's like people were not hydrated or on other drugs, let's say, on their own. It's, I mean, when I couldn't believe the nurse, which I saw on Inside Edition, she wouldn't show her face, but she was in tears saying that she saved three other people. And I mean, I saw this boy who looked like he was basically in his early to late 20s that went to cardiac arrest. It's like, what the hell? Like, what? Because of what you saw? Because of what you weren't drinking water? Like, what happened?
So, and then I don't put it past people. These are festivals, these are musical events. Drugs are prevalent in places like this. You know what I mean? So
Right,
it could
right.
have been a bad batch. There's usually people who have it on with them. They go to the festivals just for the sole sake of being able to sell at higher prices or whatever. They might have got a hold of somebody who was passing out some bad goods. And that could be an effect. Like there's so many factors, especially with the numbers like that, with the situation the way it
Yes.
is. And initially, I remember the news saying it was 11 people that died. Like was from the news,
Right.
and then it retracted back to 8. The next day. So I'm curious. What happened with the other 11? Why did that number decrease when y'all put out 11? Like, unless they're just not fact checking. The news is in a rush to put out be the first at this point, as opposed to getting the information correct. So that's why I say I think
Right.
there's a lot more going on than what's honestly being told to the people. And for all of these people to say that they saw people dropping, for them not to be in the same area, for them to be in different parts of the crowd, and even the angles you saw on the camera, different groups hollering help, help, help. I think there was a lot more going on than people really want to say.
Absolutely.
I told y'all about
And
that
let
diary a
me,
year ago, Heidi, and nobody believed me.
right. Well, real quick, I do have a cousin who is in the, let's say she works for a funeral home. She runs it. And during the real COVID, 2020, I asked her, I'm like, listen, what is going on? Because I know that the numbers don't seem right to me. And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, you could be 20 with COVID, but if you get hit by a bus, I said, what, you die of COVID? And she's like, yeah, that's basically what's happening. And I'm like, oh, so they're fudging the numbers. So they're basically that's what I mean. It just, and I'm not going to give her a name, obviously, this is my family, but it's just like, okay, there's just so much going on out there that is misinformation, like you were saying, and things that just don't make any sense. And I'm really disgusted and upset by whoever was stabbing somebody. And as, an ex-addict, okay, if you're at a festival, a concert, and you're, I've known people who do inject in their neck or have, not recently or any time soon or anything, but in the past. But I mean, it sounds like, and if this is true, I mean, somebody really did that, and it's just fucking, I'm going to say it, fucking atrocious. Like,
That's crazy. That's crazy. And Miss Andrea, you don't have to worry. You don't have to, preface anything. We don't judge the deal. We talk a lot of shit, but we don't judge. We all come from somewhere or something. I'm not the most squeaky clean person, and all of us have back. So you don't have to, speak your
oh
existence.
boy,
It's all good in here.
I get you. If you want a half hour of a story, I got enough to go around because I have been through too much too soon in my life. But no, it's just as an ex-addict and especially as an ex dope addict and an ex-crack addict. Let me tell you, one thing that actually saved me, and the only thing that I can say that came out of COVID, was me dropping the pipe, dropping everything, because I was too scared to, meet dealers. I was too scared to do anything because, you know what? I didn't want to, I lived with my mother, I didn't want to infect anyone, God forbid, or do any of that. And you know what? Unfortunately, I hate saying that. I wish my own brain and my own, mental health got me out of that, but it didn't. But COVID made me put down a lot of things that should have been done years before. And yeah, right. And, right. And honestly, I remember, oh my God, some of my dealers coming to my house, at the beginning of the starting, and I'm like, listen, I'm not going to see you again. Here, I have plenty of masks, I have gloves, whatever you need. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll take them. And I'm like, all right, just stay safe out there. But you know what? I'm blocking you. I'm done. Do not call me. Do not, and they were like, no problem. And it's just, I don't know. I just don't understand. I find this very, again, because conspiracy-wise, weird why somebody's just, unless some sick freak is out there just out for blood, unfortunately, a school shooting or something in the past of a massacre that you just want to watch people drop like flies.
I don't put anything past anybody. I mean, it's always something, and so I wouldn't be surprised if there was. I would not be surprised if there was.
I mean, it's so disturbing. And I mean, oh God. But I just know that, if anything for me, unfortunately, came out of this horrific pandemic is that I am alive, I am sober, and I am happy. I mean, yes, I sometimes will have a couple drinks, but overall, I have put down a lot in my life, and I am glad because my father took his own life. My father, and he was the one that got we were born again Christians because of him. And, he was all about saying, taking your life as a sin and da-da-da-da, but yet, what did he go and do? He put himself down. And for whatever reasons he had, I wasn't there, and it is what it is, but you know what? It's just as bad, these false idols, the, drugs, everything is just all demonic. And I'm sure all these poor people at this concert were doing, whether it was ecstasy, whether it was club drugs or even that, but I'm angry. I want this fucker found. Who's,
I mean, if they do, like I say, to me, it will be amazing police work, because I just feel like it's just such a hard. I mean, who knows? Like I say, maybe somebody knows something
but you're
outside.
right.
I mean, but it's. I think it's just going to be a tough situation. But hopefully they do, because again,
exactly,
if he's doing it there and you got a little taste of it, people will continue to do things, and their habits will get worse. So. But
I believe God and karma will get you in the end. So you know what? who knows? But I appreciate you taking my call again, and I know I sound crazy,
No, you're
but
good.
I appreciate it, and I love you all, and thank you for listening to me.
And well, salute to you, Miss Andrea. Like I said, I know sometimes saying those things, might not be the easiest thing, but being honest and sharing yourself with us, making yourself vulnerable, we appreciate that. And salute to you for staying strong.
Thank you. And all right, well, you take care. And I've been listening to all the calls you've been taking, and I mean, I don't know your, opinions, but you've been taking everybody's call, and you just stay very non-judgmental to a degree. I mean, sometimes you will, you speak your mind. Who doesn't have their own opinion? But what matters is that yes, you're very sweet and kind about it, and that's all that matters.
I appreciate that.
All right. Well, you have a good night, and I will still be listening. I'm sure. I don't know when you're getting off soon, but I will be. I'll be in the chat.
Well, thank you, Miss Andrea, and it's nice speaking to you again. You have a good evening.
All right. Thank you. You too. Good night.
Good night.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So, for a lot of you, like I said, there's, with this topic, and there's been a few new faces in here, and some people are kind of having a hard time reading the energy of the den. The chat is a gauntlet. It's a free range, free for all. Speak your mind, speak your piece, no matter whether you agree or disagree with me. And whether or not I agree with your opinions, I will listen. That's the biggest, most important thing, is that I think people need to get to the point where they listen to each other and, have real conversations to give. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
What's the motherfucking deal? It's the Dawn Stinker.
The Don Stinker. Is this the legendary, the OG, the Kush Den throwback, Shaquille O. Cushington himself?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing this evening, Mr. Shaq Kush?
Man, chilling.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts?
That whole Travis Scott situation, man, fuck that nigga. Who the hell is he anyway? All I know is PM C, Bun B, Zero, Chameleon, even funky ass Paul Wall.
Why Paul Wall gotta be funky ass?
Shit.
Why does Paul Wall gotta be funky ass?
Man, fuck that white boy.
You hate. Paul Wall been putting in work since he was so thrilled he could catch boppers if he rode on a bike.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
Y'all like I've never seen white person post on the phone was right up pro. Fuck that nigga.
They hate on that boy Paul Wall, man. But I mean, aside from Travis Scott, because I ain't, I don't vibe with Travis Scott, and I'm a person who's relatively. I try to listen to new things. I just can't get into it. But the festival itself and everything that took place, what are your thoughts on that, man? And kind of the tragedy that fell out from that.
Man, that's ridiculous. AstroWorld though, man, AstroWorld supposed to go to places to go chill and shit. You know what I'm saying? That kids we go to AstroWorld chill, not kill people.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. That shit happened like that. You know what I'm saying? People out there wild and shit. They see free and black people start running. I don't know what the hell their problem is, but shit, they gotta stop that shit.
So, do you think that Travis Scott misappropriated the name AstroWorld from what it used to be, the theme park when we were kids, to what he made it into this music festival?
Yeah. Man, when we was kids, AstroWorld, everybody still Fright Fest.
Yeah, Fright Fest used to be live.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That was the spot to go to.
Yeah, it's true.
AstroWorld was one of the 8 wonders. No, it wasn't. That was Astrodome was the 8 wonders.
Yes. Yes, the Astrodome was 8 wonders of the world, but it was right next to the Astrodome, so it was like 8.5.
Yeah. Everybody know the alcohol was the shit though. As the kids, everybody paid their little money to go to AstroWorld.
Yeah. That's where
you know what I'm saying? Travis Scott tried to make it seem like, man, I don't know what the hell his problem is.
All I know is I've never seen any of those symbols, any of that evil energy, none of that at AstroWorld. The most you had. So here's the one thing I will say about the real AstroWorld theme park. If you got there early, like right before it opened or right like when it opened, like everybody used to like run into, like when they opened the doors up, people would run to, try to be first in line to whatever ride they wanted to get on, right? And, I went a couple of times that I was early, usually, niggas be showing up late. But the couple of times that I actually got there early, I was always first for the ride that I wanted to get on. But that would be about it. But Astroworld was a good time, you young by teenagers, you out there hollering at chicks, you being chicks from other sides of town, you getting numbers and all that other stuff, you having fun, you riding rides, eating funnel cakes. It was a good time. But this Astroworld that he's created, even since that little album came out, has seemed to have like this weird energy, this weird vibe that he's been putting out. And again, like I say, he's always been an odd person. I didn't even think he was from Houston, like I said, when I first ever heard of him. But
I didn't know it's music either.
So
that ain't the music I knew growing up.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Definitely something.
Like I knew 1B and 0 in them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who this Travis Scott dude is.
Well, yeah. Like I say, but the younger generation, they're just on a different wave, as they say. So
old tight jeans, Island Boy jamming after.
You listening to Island Boy. You got Island Boy in your playlist right now. You got that Kodiak Red, that Fly Soldier.
I'm Island Boy. No. I don't listen to that shit.
Oh, it's terrible. That's the worst stuff I've ever heard in my life. Oh man. So what do you think though? What do you think will happen? Do you think that there will be legal repercussions for Mr. Scott? Do you think that it's his fault what took place happened? Do you think it's more on the concert promoters? Is it on the event staff? Like who do you think is most responsible for everything that took place at this festival?
Man, I think it's the people's fault. Running there all crazy and shit. I don't know. You can't really blame Travis Scott. He's just one person. Can't really say it's him, but man, them people should knew better than that shit.
So you think
I'm running there all crazy like that? I mean, we did crazy stuff too, but shit, not like that.
Yeah.
Especially now. Everything's recorded. You can't do stuff like that.
Yeah, but like I say, I mentioned yesterday, we came up in the era where crunk music was a thing, and it kind of, maybe it had that same, I don't know the difference between raging, but when crunk music was a thing, it was throw them bows and, all that stuff. So when you was out and about, there was a lot of aggressive energy. There was, a lot of action, a lot of stuff going on, but I don't recall, and maybe I missed it, maybe in another city, like I say, the news is different now. But I don't ever recall hearing a story of people getting trampled or, mass injuries like this from, somebody who may have made crunk music. I don't remember anything like, I don't know, 3 6 Mafia did have a song that was banned that tear the club up, did get banned. I'm pretty sure niggas got shot to that on a low level. But, but
at Club Connections.
Oh man, Club Connections, that's I remember when I used to stay next to that's some throwback stuff right there. See, these folks don't know about Club Connection. That's some old Houston shit right there.
Everybody had that one homeboy in the corner getting ready to fight.
Club Connection, good grief, dog. That's parking lot pimping. I ain't even want to go into Club Connection. I've been straight pimping. But yeah, man, like I say, it's crazy, bro. Like what has happened, how much things have changed. The culture of Houston has changed, and for this to have happened in the city, there have been, other tragedies. I wouldn't say musically related, but what kind of stamp do you think that this puts on the city of Houston with this happening here, with this being a guy who is from Houston? Like, do you think that will leave a negative association with Houston or the Houston rap scene or anything like that?
Shit, hell yeah. It already took us forever to get on top. Shit. How long it take us to get on top?
Too long. We had about
people forgot
a
about
year.
Houston.
Yeah.
Shit, we had a little go on BT for a while, and then damn, fell off quick.
That was the inside
Now
job.
people like shit. Like I said, I ain't know Travis Scott was from Houston. I thought he was from New York or something. Or ATL.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was from like Atlanta when I first heard it. But yeah. Okay.
Like I said, the city ain't the city no more.
No, it's definitely a change. It's a whole different vibe, and it's unfortunate that
Travis
it's not in a
Scott
good
probably
way.
never ate Tim cans before.
Travis Scott didn't have Timmy Chaz, man. He did definitely have some Timmy Chaz, like I say, and that's the crazy thing because that's the crazy
He
thing.
never had the original Tim cans.
Because they say that he puts the city on a lot, and the fact that like I said, this is just a bad look because he's talked about Moyo and the SUC and a lot of these things. He's always at the games. He's the terrible hooper. I did see him one of them local James Harden games. I think it was him versus Meek Mill, and they're all terrible at basketball. So there's that. I knew about him before the AstroWorld album. That's why I say I thought he was from Atlanta. And then, like right after I found out about him, he came out with that AstroWorld album, Heidi. Yes.
I didn't even know he had the AstroWorld album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was some weird stuff. It was, I don't know. Like I said, people liked it. I just thought the name appropriation was terrible. Okay. But any other thoughts you have on just the situation, just what's been going on around it?
Nah, like I said, I ain't know he was from the city.
Okay.
All I know is Bun B, Pimp C, Zero, SUC, Switch House, Chameleon.
I was about to say you ain't say your favorite. Yeah, because
Chameleonaire.
Mm. What? Jacquez Repster. He got a French name. That's terrible. Yeah. But yeah, that's crazy, man. That's
You can tell Heidi I don't want to guard booty.
Well, Heidi, you heard Shaq Kush. She said you got to sign up for OnlyFans.
Nah, fuck that shit.
All the way back to the 99 and the 2000. Oh man, I seen a terrible meme of Juvie the other day, and I'm gonna just leave that one alone, man. Yeah, see, we definitely showing our age. All the young folks. What are these old people talking about? What is this? What is this Spun B? What is this Chameleonaire?
Chameleon? Who's that guy?
Yeah, Chameleon that left the rap game and got into the tech industry. That's how long that's been. So that's wild. Yeah, old. So enjoyed it. Yeah. That's all right. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? You can live enough life to have some memories. There ain't nothing wrong with that, right? But what do you think? Do you think people will have that this will be kind of like, I don't want to call it PTSD, but do you think that people will have, long-term problems from attending this concert?
Nah, I doubt it.
You don't think so? You think people
they still can go to a shit.
You think people will have short-term memories that they will still attend Travis Scott concerts?
Man, by next week, the AstroWorld shit gonna be forgotten about.
You think it's gonna go away that fast? You got a lot of lawyers trying to sue him. You got, like them old commercials. If you worked around asbestos in the '60s, they already got the AstroWorld lawsuit things on Instagram. If you were at the concert and you suffered a trauma,
well, of course, a few family gonna remember it, but the news feed ain't gonna talk about it. And they'll talk about things like that.
Like you say, it's a quick news cycle. 24 hours, they're gonna find something new to complain about. They got to keep it fresh. They got to keep us living in fear for one thing or another. So, okay. All right. Well, that's a bit. Anything else that's on your mind there, Mr. Kush?
No, sir.
All right. Well, that's a bit. It's almost about that time to get ready to wind it down. But it is good to hear from Mr. Shaq Kush. I know it's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? Folks been asking where Shaq Kush been at. When the last time you played Human Fall Flat?
Man, it's been a minute.
I played that shit the other day. I don't ever want to play again.
I ain't been gone with Xbox in a long time.
Mm. Mm. Oh, it is right. The young dude, his case is going on. Yeah, they're going to be real upset about that when whatever happens with that. Okay, well that's a BET. Well, like I said, we're gonna have to fuck around and get on the box for old time's sake. It's been a while, man. So we're gonna have to link up or something.
Bad.
That's a BET.
Getting off the old Ages of Empire too.
Oh man, yeah, they actually dropped a new one. I think number 4. I ain't played it yet. It looked kind of cartoonish, so that's not necessarily my style. But we can get on the throwback Age of Empires. No cheat codes. No, I don't want to be building my empire and then a monster truck just come through the empire, just running everything. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. I ain't even gonna get into it. But yeah, we have to get on that Age of Empires, man. So we'll make that shake. We'll make that shake real soon. Man.
All right, for sure.
All right, well that's a BET. But Mr. Shaq, Chris, I appreciate you calling in, man.
All right.
All right, yeah, we'll go. Shout out to the Cushington OG. Man, I told y'all about that diary a year ago. I talked about that diary a year ago. I put the links in the Discord a year ago. This is old news. I'm telling y'all, I told y'all about that a year ago. Like all of that stuff it's been out for a very long time. Yeah, I put the links in the Discord. Again, if y'all want to be a part of the Den Discord, we talk shit to each other all day long and post stories and pictures of whatever we eat. The Den is a community. I keep some of y'all may not understand. This is not a channel. This is a community for terrible people. And if you've been here more than an hour, you're a terrible person too. But we love you. If you can last in the Den, you can last anywhere. I think the Den folk have been being relatively nice the last couple of days. So shout out to y'all. Y'all have been on your best behavior. Moderators. Make sure I'm bringing it. Y'all don't want to go to that channel. That's the wrong thing. But Roger say take one more. Uno Mas call. Where's Ashley at? Argue with Ashley for another hour. Nah, I don't want to do that. I don't got the juice. All right, let me drop this in the thing. Like I said, man, what y'all gotta understand about then, all opinions are welcome, whether no matter who you are, what you are, your background, your forehead, any of that. Everybody. Oh no, what's that? It's definitely the wrong link. This is a place where we have conversations, right? No matter what the topic may be. Because I think the problem is now everybody is trying to live in this society where everybody just wants to silence everybody else. If you don't agree with me, you can't talk to me. And I think that's a terrible thing, right? I think the only way that we come to understanding, not necessarily agreement, but understanding of the people around us, the people we live amongst, is to have genuine conversations, right? To have genuine conversations. And by not having those conversations, I think we miss out on a lot. And that's the problem nowadays. Everybody wants to be, kind of in an echo chamber. Everybody wants to be somewhere where they hear the stuff that they want to hear all the time, right? I actively am in spaces where I hear terrible things. But I think it makes it better for me as an individual. It makes it better for me to understand other people's perspective, understand people. I think that's very important. We have a lack of understanding as a society. I think we're less connected with our thoughts and our feelings. I think we're less connected with our neighbors. As I mentioned earlier, Mr. J called in. That I think that, social media and just technology and things like that, it has us disconnected, even though it kind of can make us more connected. Like this is digital technology. But I think it's important, man. So like I say, if you rocking with the Den, we talk about various things, and I'm actually surprised that we've stayed relatively on topic the last 2 days, because that doesn't tend to happen. It usually will have a certain topic and don't talk about it. But hey, it works, right? You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it, right? Yeah, once you got the yeah, once you initiated that raid, that's when you confirmed it. Because if it wasn't a real thing, it would have been ignored. It would have been like nobody cares. But once you had the raid, that lets you know everything in it was factual, and people should care more about it, but they don't. Like I said, people only care if it benefits their political party. If it's something detrimental to whatever side they're on, then they choose to ignore it. And that's what then everybody's doing it, right? And so, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the things that were written in it a while back, I mean, you could just tell. It's kind of hard to make up certain things, right? And I pointed some stuff out, even though Broderick's really, really old. Like, I'm old, but Broderick's really, really old, because I told him about it like 3 different times. And he's like, "Oh, I remember you telling me about that." And even I asked him some specific questions about some of the things that were written in it. And, but that's a whole nother conversation. But we'll probably, we'll talk about it, right? But I mean, are you surprised, right? Are you really surprised? I'm going to save this conversation for the Discord. Because there's just certain things you can say on YouTube. We can push the envelope on the tube. But that's exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to save certain conversations for the Discord. But again, who cares, right? Because nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. That's the problem. But, I'm trying to hold out. Brother say take another call, but I don't think anybody else is calling in. So we are probably going to get ready to wind it down. I do appreciate all of you who called in. Shout out to Shad Kush. Hadn't heard from you in a while. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to Broderick. Shout out to Miss Andrea. And, Miss Andrea got me ready to bring back, yes, forehead. I don't know everybody in here, but I know that there are some foreheads in here, right? Hey, but I still love y'all. Got me feeling like we need to bring back. We might need to bring back Sunday Night Confessions. I was supposed to do a Sunday Night Confession yesterday, but kind of wanted to speak on this topic. Broderick, we've had this discussion about this wrench. We have had multiple votes on this wrench, right? We are not going to have this wrench conversation again until 2022. In 2022, we'll have a midterm election for your wrench, Roger. But you're going to have to campaign. Good night, lovely Miss Sarah Lou. Yeah. See, now you got competition. So yeah, what we're going to have to do is we're going to hold an open election next time. We're going to have all the candidates, this won't be a recall election for Broderick's Ranch. We'll have all the candidates in, and we're going to take a vote. Oh, good grief. So we'll see. Yes, a bedtime story. A bedtime story like one of those Don't Be a Menace in South Central while drinking your juice in the hood bedtime stories. But yeah, like I said, I do appreciate each and every one of you. And I thank all of you who have come through to have a conversation. And just chop it up to speak your piece. Everybody who was in the chat, sharing your thoughts, sharing your comments, greatly appreciated. I do. So I don't know, unless something else just crazy comes out, I don't want to, y'all know me, if y'all been around, I don't like overdoing stories and certain topics, but unless something else crazy comes out, maybe a different angle or something happens, this will probably be, it as far as this conversation, or, we'll throw it in one of those free range Friday conversations when we talk about a variety of things, something like that. Yeah, I was actually hoping nobody would call. You talking about, I'm getting off work, I'm gonna call. Give me the number. I don't know where people feel like they get special privilege to call over everybody else. If the line opens up, man, you call like everybody else. That's how it works. think except for that one time we had to have a conversation with Maria. Where is Maria? Ain't been. I don't think Maria mad at me again. Maria ain't been back. Maria ain't been in here in a while. She might have got deported from Canada again. I don't know. But hopefully she's doing well wherever she may be. I think she might be back on the disliking the videos. she might be next door. The lady moved a couple of houses down, looks eerily like Maria. Very scary. She might be hiding her trail. You know what? That could be the case. That would be, check the ring. And what the fuck is going on, Scotty? What are you eating? Toxic Tuesdays. I don't know. We see, this is what I'm saying. This is why we got to get the den back active. See, everybody got too nice and friendly in the den. We all became friends. And so nobody's mean to each other anymore. So we haven't had a debate in a while. Everybody's agreeing on shit. So we'll have to get it active. We'll have to get some more controversial topics going on. And, we'll go from there. But all I'm saying is I do appreciate you people. I'm going to give me a little bit of rest. Gotta do some studying. I might actually be lying. No, I'm gonna go get some sleep. I've been up too much. No, there's no paying. Discord, the Den Discord is absolutely free. Just join the conversation. It's absolutely free. I enjoy talking with people in the Den, and so it's a good conversation. Now my other channel, that's a different conversation because there's some weirdos on the other stuff, but this is absolutely 100% free. Let me see. What else? I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like there's something else I'm supposed to say. Don't listen to Heidi. Not true. The Den Discord is absolutely free. Drop the link in there for you again. Gotta be careful of Michelle. If you get in there and a guy named Memphis starts hitting on you, we can't help that. There's just a lot of inside shit going on. There's a lot of inside shit. Like y'all just. Heidi is a hater, right? Because we won't let her in the Soft Sports Discord. She wants to be in there so bad, but all we do is talk about Heidi and her terrible moderating, and then some dude randomly comes in there and says very peculiar things about her. So there's that. But there's a Discord link right there. We appreciate y'all. I do. We, the Den folk. I appreciate y'all. I think we all appreciate each other. But it's time for me to stop rambling. Time for me to get ready to go to bed. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central Time, we'll be talking about something. I don't know what it'll be. Maybe something going on in the news. There's actually a conversation that I've been wanting to have for a while. Because, sometimes we talk about life, right? Sometimes we just talk about life things in here. And, behind the scenes, I've been speaking with various Den folks, and I know some people are dealing with some things. And so tomorrow, I think we're going to have a conversation. One of those real open conversations. I mean, unless something just crazy happens in the news. But I think it's time for one of those. It's been a while. One of those real conversations where, it's just where we talk about life, where, we can kind of, get things off our chest, not necessarily like a Sunday night confession, but just, we're all real people. We're all dealing with things. And except for Heidi, she's like a robot Android 19 or something. So I think it's time to have one of those conversations. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. But that being said, share recipes. I got the Sweet Baby Ray's recipe. Y'all want the recipe of Sweet Baby Ray's? I'll post it in the Discord. But I'm trying to produce. I appreciate y'all, man. I thank y'all sincerely. It is my honor. It is my privilege. It is my pleasure to get to chop it up with you guys each and every night, Sunday through Friday. I take Saturdays off, 9 p.m. Central Time. I am your host, Ed Honcho. I thank you. I really, truly do. Because without you guys, the Den ain't shit. You guys make this what it is. You guys make this discussion amazing. I love hearing from each and everybody's perspective. Not Broderick as much, but last couple of calls he had have been some real good calls. So, he's working his way back up the ladder. He was in a bad spell with that whole Maria situation for a while. But anyway, I appreciate y'all, man. But I'm gone. Good night. Adios. Done. I wonder if after maybe a certain amount of time it doesn't